In this episode, in this live, I'll be breaking down a few things. You see the title, you see the topic, you know what time it is. It's about knowing your worth. One is a buzzword, one it's also a command, one it's also a warning, it's an advice. In the zeitgeist, we shall be talking about knowing your worth. It's not an easy thing. You don't wake up one day and know your worth. What is your worth? Knowing your worth, hey Chineke. See, the command, man, know thyself, is not something that you just wake up and know. Nobody woke up one day and started knowing mathematics. So they have to teach you something. You had to be taught. Somebody had to show you a way. Somebody had to teach you how to think. You were conditioned. Not teach them, teach you. Now it's after you've tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed. That's when you finally get to know. Knowing that you may not even know it all. So knowing is not suspecting. Knowing is not assuming. Knowing is not rushing into conclusions. It's not by saying, oh, if he knows, then I should know. If we're the same age, then I should know my worth. There are people older than I am that don't know their worth. There are people younger than I am that know their worth more than I know my worth. This is the reality of it. Do you really know your worth is the question. And how can you know your worth if you don't? It starts with self-awareness. Oh man, I appreciate this. Emmanuel Kings, I appreciate it. It starts from self-assessment for self-awareness. You've got to understand the self first. You've got to understand. You need to understand the self first. I didn't say you need to understand what you want, what you think makes you feel better. It's not about feeling better. No, it's about knowing what you are, who you are, accepting who you are. Yeah, it's by understanding. Some people don't understand themselves. That's why they'll tell you, oh, I did ABC because I don't know what came over me. Nothing came over you. Something came out of you. There's part of you you've not discovered. Your shadow is there. A lot of people in their shadows have never met. That's why you wake up one day, somebody that was normal, absolutely normal. Wake up one day, the rumor that, oh, this person did some crazy thing. You're like, I thought he was fine. That person feel wake up one day unalive themselves. Oh, we thought he was normal. No, because he doesn't know himself. If he knew, that's why when somebody by himself, people frown at it. It's an omen. It's an abomination. This person, there's something wrong here. Nobody buys himself for a cut on the hand. Nobody buys himself for a cut on the leg. Nobody buys himself for a cut at the back. There's a flaw in the cognitive process that makes them feel the need to unalive themselves. There's an oriope inside here. I don't think you guys understand. I'm mapping out a thought process for us to follow. It's not because something happened to the person on the shoulder. That's why they buy themselves. No, it's because there's something here that is incorrect. There's a flaw. Not don't lose. That's why they felt the need to unalive the whole system, because they can't contain what's in here. Why? Because there's a part of them that is the shadow. There's a shadow in there they've never met. And that shadow overwhelms them. That is why in the state of calm, you need to do the work. When you are calm and clear, that's when you should start thinking. Because in the heat of the moment, in adversity, under anxiety, you cannot really think. The shadow will overwhelm you. Your shadow, it will overwhelm you if you've not mastered yourself. Why do you think they advise people and say, when you are angry, when you are in the heat of the moment, don't react. Respond. Silence is a valid response. Anger, rage, these are reactions. And after that, regret is a sign that you reacted. If you later regret an action, it tells you that what you did in that moment was not a response. It's a reaction. So the indicator to tell you that you are not fully in control, that you don't really know yourself, is that regret will remind you, hey, I didn't know myself when I did this. So who did that? I don't know what came over me. The fact that you're labeling it, I don't know what came over me, tells you that you still don't know yourself. Because if you knew yourself, the statement will not be, I don't know what came over me. It should have been, I don't know the part of me that came out of me that took control of the part of me that I know. Because it's all part of you. Now you did one. There's nothing external. It came from the inside. And this is where
emotional damage
is inevitable. For some people, when they get to a point where they can no longer take control of themselves, they are autopilot. Those are the people suffering neurosis, severe mental psychosis, delusionists. Those are the people that need help. That's when they need external help to help them think. The average human being hasn't discovered their shadow. The shadow will overwhelm you at some point and you regret, and overwhelm you, you regret. You keep learning. We learn by reinforcement. If I act out of rage today and I later regret it, there's a likelihood that if the same event repeats itself, I will not react. There's a likelihood because I've learned that. So it is from self-assessment for self-awareness that you get to a point of self-realization. Aha, so this is who I am. Wow, this is who I am. Oh, I never knew this is who I am. That's when you realize, because in the self-assessment, you may require other people to help you assess yourself. You need to look at yourself from a mirror. You will need to. Other people have to put their inputs, whether directly or indirectly. That's why people create surveys. That's why people ask questions. What do you think about me? What do you think about my behaviors? What do you think about how I act? It is from such assessments that you get to a point of self-awareness. Okay, now I'm aware. Now, okay, this is a behavior. Okay, so when I do this is how people will see it. Oh, so when I walk, this is how my bum bum looks. Oh, so when I do this is how it looks. Ah, okay. So I'm getting to be aware of myself so that when I walk, I won't assume that I'm walking like Hulk Hogan. No, actually, when I walk like a girl. For instance, I'm just using an example. Some people think they walk proper. Maybe you're leaning towards the left without really knowing it. Or you're leaning towards the right without really knowing it. Some people are fast walkers. They don't even know. So it is from self-assessment that you get to understand, be self-aware. So when next you're walking with people, if you realize you're a slow walker and you're walking with people, that self-awareness would make you conscious enough to at least increase pace. When you guys are rushing somewhere as a group, you will not be walking slow, expecting them to slow down. If you're a fast walker, you slow down. It is from self-awareness that you start being more conscious of yourself. And that's when, hopefully, you get to self-realization. Eureka! Oh, hi me. Nice to meet me. You meet yourself. Okay, this is who I am. I've got these pros, I've got these cons. I'm imperfect. I should humble myself. Maybe I don't speak as well as I think I do. Some people talk for too long. Some people talk for too short. Some people can't articulate their thought process in a clear pattern. They can't communicate, but they think they can communicate. That's when you start understanding these things. These are my flaws. These are my strengths. How can I use the strengths to overcome the flaws? You use your available strengths to try to suppress and work on the weaknesses, hoping that from there you develop new strengths. From there, growth becomes inevitable. You will grow when you're able to identify your strengths so that you can use them to overcome your weaknesses. In that journey is when you can finally say, okay, I am making progress towards self-actualization. Anyway, quick one. If you're just watching and you're enjoying what you see, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know in the comments. Let's proceed. It is in the actualization that you can now sit back and say, yes, I know my worth. This is who I am. This is who I am, and I know my worth. I know these strengths. And if I'm able to put up these strengths in comparison to these weaknesses, in comparison with the global market, maybe it's about the sexual market, it's about business, it's about your rank in the career ladder, then you can be able to say, this is my worth in the dating pool. That is my worth in the dating pool. Because a lot of people don't know their worth in the dating pool. That's why you will see a single mom that will wake up one day and tell you she's just as equal as the woman who hasn't had a child. No shades, but they're not the same. The same for a single dad and a man who's not had a child. Yesterday I had a conversation with a lady. She was saying, if you've got a child as a man, there's nothing for me and you. It was a whole conversation, after a game, football, guys and the girl, she usually would come and we play. That's it. She was just saying it. We're just trying to understand her thought process, but it was all tilted towards she doesn't want baggage. Because obviously, if you've got a kid, as a man, if you're a single dad, you've got baggage. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So it is important that you know your worth. A millionaire and a billionaire are not the same. A 6'4" guy and a 5'10" guy, they're not the same. A charismatic guy and a timid guy, they're not the same. A fine boy and Iruake, they're not the same. We just keeping it real. We're keeping it real. So it is from self-assessment that you get to self-awareness. From there, you get to self-realization and then self-actualization. That's when you know your worth. Not that you woke up one day and because you listened to a podcast, a motivational speech that told you that you deserve, you are manifesting. Some people manifest their worth. That's delusion. That's the height of it. The height of delusion is when you think you can manifest a persona and then that becomes you. No, you've got to do the work. There's no shortcuts around here. There's no shortcut. You got to do the work. You have got to do the work. Because faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead on arrival. Dead. Yes. If you have the faith that you're a 10, but actually you're a 5, and you've not done the work to move from 5 to 10, to understand what being a 10 is, it is dead. Amongst 10s, you'll be a fool, you'll be the clown, because you don't even fit. Imagine me now being amongst the $10. I don't even know how to move there. There are conversations I can't have with them, no matter how educated I am, because I've not done the work. I've not been through the process. Nobody knows me. I would have to go through the process. That's why when there was a Dangote interview from a lady, when she was saying, speaking from experience, what experience? Pay attention.
I speak here from experience. How do you stay grounded?
Which experience did you?
Which experience are you speaking from? Although he's not trying to attack her or put her down, but he's very sensitive. He's a very smart man. In the moment, he processes information like snap. Speaking from which, are you trying to insinuate that you're rich? Like, are you trying to subtly slide it in? Which experience? Poor man no fit see him now. Poor man might let it go. He doesn't. Which experience? Because he felt he had to question it because he's got authority. He's got the authority to question, like, which experience are you questioning from? Because he knows his worth. The girl saying, speaking from experience. What experience does she have? She doesn't even have the experience, but she's saying speaking from experience. So it tells you that what delusion could do to you. The lack of self-awareness, the lack of self-realization, the lack of self-actualization has prompted her not to know her worth and to communicate jargon. And she disgraced herself on a national TV before a man who actually knows himself. Just like we watched the other video. We watched it. Let me pull it up again. Just like we watched the other video right here. We watched this. Let's let it play again. This is a man that knows his worth.
Because of the way I look.
Because I feel like
I don't want to use
you've
that.
been through a lot of trauma in your life, and now you're kind of clinging.
That tells you the fact that we're seeing these conversations play out and we digest these contents without really sitting down to assess them tells you that it is the one who's got nothing that is more vocal about having things. It is the people who no get they talk about but the ones who actually do, what they know they have, they know their worth. So when they listen to you, they filter what you say carefully in real time, as reasonable persons should. They are able to question your thought process because they've done the work. Not because they're too smart, because they have done the work. The evidence speaks for itself. Things you struggle to explain, they don't need to. They'll just send you to a website, just send you to the stats. You see their works behind them. So they don't need to talk too much. They say that the more you make money, the more confident and the less talkative you become, because you have evidence of the works. You know your worth more. But the person who no get them lives in delusion. They feel that if they can communicate it and convince you, then they are that. That's why you see a lot of empty heads, a lot of young women, young men boasting. So boasting is an indicator that you've known nothing. You don't know your worth. If you had to boast about who you are, or what you have, or what you do, then you don't really know who you are. You're lying to yourself. And you're hoping that if you communicate to other people that same lie, they might buy it. And if they buy it, then yes, you are that. Which is very unfortunate. Very, very, very unfortunate. Which brings me to this conversation. Know your worth. Just like right now, I call my YouTube Strugglewood. Trust me, I call it Strugglewood. This is a struggle phase. I've got 119 subscribers the last time I checked. 119. But I see other pages, I see other channels with 100Ks, millions. I know they did the work, and that is the work I am doing as well. If I wake up tomorrow now and I see 100K, I'll ask questions. What happened? How? Who engineered this? How did my numbers spike up? What did I do that is so outstanding? Then I'll go and check. If I can't trace it to anything, then there's a problem somewhere. I don't just get from 119 to 100,000. That would be a miracle. That would be abnormal. That would be abnormal. And I would ask questions. Even though it's a favorable miracle, I would ask questions. Because I know the work I've put in is not enough. I'm on 44 videos. I need to get about 100K videos. I know. The goal is not even to get to 1,000, now 100,000 videos. The goal is not to do minimal work. No, I know I've got to do the work. And I've talked about this in my interview. I talked about it in my interview. That interview, I said that I don't know what favor means. I don't know what miracle means. I do the work and I hope to see the returns. You gotta pay me what you owe me. Reward me for the work. Don't reward me for doing nothing, because I know my worth. I don't want free lunch. But you see people wanting free lunch. They want to get it without doing the work. You've got to do the work. It's the lazy ones. It's the ones who don't know their worth that would just want outcomes. I want outcome. I want outcome. Give me outcome. At what price have you done the work? What will you do with the outcome if it comes? These are questions you need to ask yourself. Critically, carefully, with love, with empathy, with patience, with endurance in your heart. Clarity. You need to ask those questions to yourself. So the next time you hear somebody tell you, I know my worth, the next question should not be maybe a dignified silence or whatever. Probe into it. Okay, tell me about your worth. Tell me exactly what you mean by your worth. Teach me how to recognize your worth in case I see it outside. In detail, because you know, you say you know. So, and something you know, you should be able to communicate and articulate, and watch them stutter. Watch them stutter. You will see the same people telling you, I know my worth. They would stutter when you ask them to communicate that worth that they know. They don't know it. So today, the take home would be, do you really know your worth, or you suspect what your worth is? Are you really that high priced? Are you really that beautiful? Are you that special? Are you compulsory? Only a child. We've seen this in families. I saw it in my family. Somebody will wake up one day and say, I'm running away. And I don't, it's just like that child that maybe they did something wrong and they were punished. They'll go and carry their bag. I'm leaving this house. I'm leaving this house. They believe they know their worth. They believe they can thrive out there. But the parents know, this one, you can't even find your way to your school by yourself. We literally have to drive you to school, and you're living. You didn't even pack all your bags. You didn't even pack your shoe. Where's your toothbrush? You didn't even pack tissue. You didn't even pack water. You didn't even pack the essentials that you will need until you get a place. If you get a place. You didn't even know that if you go out there, nobody will give you a house because you're a child. Anywhere you go now, they'll ask you about your dad and mom. Where are you from? You didn't even know that if you are found roaming the streets, people would literally try to either take advantage of you or try to help you. You are not invisible. People will see that you're lost. You are vulnerable. You didn't even factor that in. That's how it looks like when you see someone boasting and saying, I know my worth. I know my worth. Ask them, okay, tell me about your worth. Introduce me to your worth. Sell your worth to me. Let's see if I also could use your worth to better my life, because that seems to be all you know, your worth. Okay, teach me your worth. Help me understand your worth. These are questions, these are pointers, these are layered processes of thought that any well-meaning individual for themselves would sit down and that says, it's not easy, it's hard. Ofialaro, it is hard. It's not easy. Never been. But there are people that have done it before and achieved and lived and died. And we're taking over the baton. Nobody said it's going to be easy. Nobody said it's going to be easy. We've got to do it. However, we've got to do it. Because without knowing your worth, without really knowing who you are and what you stand for, know what your values are, you find yourself compromising at every point of the way. Somebody offers you something, you find yourself compromising on your values. Plantain will come, you chop. Weke will pass, you knack. Aboma will pass, you knack. You don't know you know? Somebody offers you peanuts to sell yourself, you accept. Ask yourself these questions, because if you really knew your worth, you wouldn't be doing Yahoo, for instance. If you really knew your worth, you wouldn't be doing a scroll. It's a layered up questions. But in the meantime, I feel like I've really poked into this. It's nice hanging out with you guys. Beautiful content, beautiful live session today. Thankful to those who chimed in. If you were driving while you were listening to me, I hope you had a very safe, beautiful ride. If you are in the bed and you're listening to me and you're sleeping, I hope I was able to make your day better, help you relax. I know I chose the wrong time to come on live, but if I said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it anyways. Anticipate one live session on Facebook here. Every weekend, I'm going to come on live. I'll make sure to draw up a schedule within the week so that I don't miss it, right? Let me know what your thoughts are. As always, share in the comments, tag whoever you want to introduce to me or you want me to be introduced to. Tag someone, share the live if you may. But as always, if you come on the live, spike up the room. Alright, that was a beautiful one. If you're just joining us, you're welcome. You came late. Next time you come on, oh yeah, I'm reading this comment. It says, you're doing a great job, bro. Something to ponder. What's your worth? And that's the closing mark. Thanks for chiming in. It was nice hanging out with you guys. Hit my links in the bio. Follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and as always, I'll be posting this on YouTube. Hit the subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Until next time, I'll catch you again. Ciao.
Check me pockets, man. $3 man says it's a hot $1, a $200. Fifth like the motherfucking $1,000 blazing hot, man. I straight to tell them, spend the money, man. When you mark the man.